He works with organizations to improve how they're discovered through AI-powered search. Joint goal is Qazi Ahmed, a customer success and operations lead at Citable. Qazi brings more than a decade of experience across operations, customer success, and implementation, and works directly with organizations adopting AI search strategies. We are delighted to have both of them here with us today, and I will now hand it off to Cole and Qazi to get us started.
Thank you. Thank you, Kennedy. Thank you, CEED, for giving us the platform, and thanks for all the participants who have signed in. Really excited to be working with you for the next hour or so. I'm Qazi. I have Cole, the co-founder and CEO of the company, and I'm the customer success and operations lead. What do we want to achieve through this webinar? I mean, our goal is that by the end of the next hour, you'll know what needs to be done for more AI visibility for your company. And a quick thing, like some housekeeping. If you have questions during the webinar, please drop them in the chat. Both Citable and CEED's team members are monitoring the chat, and we will sort of answer you as we go, or if there's more long answers are needed, we'll do that at the end of the during the Q&A session that we have. Okay, so after today's session, you will understand how your brand appears in AI search compared with your competitors. Learn practical steps you can take immediately to improve your visibility, and see how Citable can help you in tracking, strengthening, and turning your AI presence into more customer discovery and sales. So let us begin. So why is this important? Why are we even sort of engaging with AIs, and why is it needed? So like LLMs, which are like chatbots like ChatGPT and Google Gemini and Claude, they're quickly becoming a new entry point for shopping. So like right now, 44% of AI-driven search traffic comes from platforms such as those I've mentioned, and 25% of Canadian consumers are actually researching AI through the help of AI chatbots in order to take the purchasing decision. But each AI response only can recommend a handful of brands, not all the brands, and especially if you are in a highly competitive, fragmented industry with many players, they would only maybe surface 10 companies at max, not more than that. So if you are not present as one of those companies that are being recommended by LLM, then you're losing out on prospective customers and sales, and most of the time LLMs, they tend to surface the bigger brands, the more popular brands, well-known ones like Walmart, H&M, McDonald's. ChatGPT, like what's the best restaurant in Halifax, and like that. So like we have a practical example here. So like think about the questions your new customers might ask. Like for instance, before choosing a brand or going with the business, traditionally they used to ask Google, and that was sort of enough because Google would show because there are many pages on Google, and you can scroll down and down, and they'll show more and more. For instance, we have taken a Canadian recruitment agency named Langford Staffing, and it's actually based out of Ontario in this case. So they have a nice website, and it's really good. And if you search on Google, they will appear on the sort of traditional Google search. But if you ask the very same question to ChatGPT, they don't show up. So like there's something happening that the traditional SEO and Google-based search used to pick up, but ChatGPT or if you go to like maybe Google Gemini or Perplexity, they will not pick up the same brand. As you can see, it's not showing our Langford Staffing agency. So this means like if someone goes directly to ChatGPT and asks for recruiting related questions, it could be prospective employers or employees looking for a good fit or an agency to work with. Langford is not showing up. So obviously, SEO might help you target customer discovery, but it's not enough in this day of AI because people are more and more going to the directly to the AI chatbots. And another important thing is that those people who ask ChatGPT or AI chatbots, they are sort of more high intent customers. So they have already done their research, they're asking various questions to the chatbots, they're sort of filtering and sort of working with the chatbot to go to their sort of target business or brand which matches their taste or their budget. So they're high intent, and if you can capture those customers, it's more likely that they will actually spend and make the purchase. So for instance, here are some stats for you, like 42% AI referred shoppers, they actually convert and spend 14% more per order and generate 37% more revenue per visit. So it's like a high ROI if you put on effort, time, or money into sort of making your website and business AI ready and AI visible. You can get more bang for your buck. Yeah, that's what the stats says. But like, I mean, there could be a mixture of attendees here. Some people might be AI curious, some people might be AI worried, some people might be like thinking about like how do I start, or am I like too behind, far behind? But actually, I mean, it's not like that. You can still sort of start now and improve your AI visibility. And in the next section run by Cole, he will show you like what concrete steps you can take today and increase your AI visibility. And with that, I'll turn it over to Cole.
Amazing. Thank you, Kazi. And hi, everyone. My name is Cole, founder of Citable. Just before we dive into the 101 AI visibility session, a quick question for everyone that is joining the session. What is your biggest challenge in getting more customers online? So we will launch a poll online, so feel free to drop in your answers, and we'd love to hear how you're thinking about your business growth and how you're thinking specifically in terms of online organic kind of go-to-market approach. And with that in mind, let me just get started. So what we do today for the session is really getting found when your customers are asking in AI. Let me just walk you through a very clear example. How does ChatGPT or other AI engines work? Right. So imagine you're opening a ChatGPT with a question in mind about, inquiring, comparing a certain, mattress or something that is pretty expensive that you want to understand the good and bad, different attributes of a same kind of service or product. What you do is you enter a prompt, which is a question in your mind. What ChatGPT will do is it will look at your memory. So the conversation you had prior to this in other sessions, and also how ChatGPT knows about you in terms of the memory. That combined, it will take your question, turn it into multiple question set. So as fan-out queries, so-called, so that AI will take those questions and search through the web. Instead of you searching one question in Google, AI will take those dozens of sub-questions across not only Google, but also social media channels, third-party listicles, or review platforms to take all those informations in as a retrieval process. And then having all those answers in, it will synthesize and merge it into one answer with, 2 to 3 names of recommendation or comparison back to your search conversation channel. So that is how currently we are seeing in ChatGPT, but also in Google as well. So compared to previous stage where we have 10 blue links, now we're having Google AI overview to just summarize the things for you, and you can click the links to get there. So AI search is the most preferred place to research kind of a high consideration purchase. And 34% of rank AI first when researching a purchase. That's kind of like a current status of how people are learning about very comparison-oriented products. And we're also seeing that the clients that are using ChatGPT are seeing more kind of comparisons and looking to inquiry about the prices, and also do due diligence about your, let's say, local service or professional service support or products, so that they can be sure that this is not a spam or this is not something they don't want to have. And with that in mind, we're also looking at how Canada is doing. So actually, in Canadians, they use more ChatGPT than United States in terms of consumer session. But on the business side, actually, there's only 19 to 20% of Canadian businesses are starting to use AI. So there's a gap between how consumers right now in Canada are starting to use AI to do research, questions, but whereas businesses are still pretty early in this stage, that creates a much bigger opportunity if we start now. According to McKinsey's report, you can see this is an example of how of a question that does the biggest brand win in AI. In reality, actually, it is not. As you can see in the brand 5 is actually a smaller company, but it appears way more than other kind of brands if you compare the share of voice with the market share. So that means if you are actually really targeted, or you are really high quality brand answering and tailoring to those high quality and very focused buyers, you can actually win in terms of the AI powered search. On top of that, how do you actually track? Do I have people coming through AI or not? And if so, what should I do, right? If you guys have any, Google Analytics connected, which you should, you will be able to see the different types of traffic coming to your website. And maybe 30% of them are actually traceable, meaning you can see that it's literally saying that it's coming from ChatGPT or other engines. But there are actually a lot of traffic that's coming from AI is recorded as direct traffic. What that means is that you will be able to experience traffic increase without directly realizing that it's coming from AI. Because users, when they're doing research in ChatGPT or other AI models, they tend to do a in-depth research and comparison, and then just go to Google and type in the website they've been comparing and learning. So that is called zero-click marketing question in kind of marketing industry, where it's very hard to understand people coming from AI. That is like, what is their intent? Why are they doing this? But we can leverage Google Analytics and also Citable to get much more precise understanding of your target audience. So here's our 3 major steps of how do we build step-by-step AI visibility growth for our business. Let's start with step 1. The most important thing is actually to understand who are the users that is asking behind those AI answers. So there are like 3 qualifiers that you guys want to check before you do any effort in terms of AI growth. First thing first, does your audience actually use AI, and do they ask AI about kind of your business vertical or service, right? And then is where is your traffic actually coming from? And then how can you rebuild the target audience from what you build, from what you understand? Here's an example of difference between searching in Google and searching in ChatGPT. In Google, people are very comfortable into just typing 3 keywords, and see how like just let Google do the magic and click the links or browse through the 10 or 20 links to find the best answer. And that takes time for users. On the ChatGPT, on the other hand, I can just open my mic and talk to ChatGPT. For example, I run a contracting business and I'm behind HST. I need someone local to clean up, et cetera, et cetera. So you can say a lot of things at the same time, dump it to ChatGPT conversation chat box, and let ChatGPT do the magic. So what we've previously covered is ChatGPT will take those language into multiple questions, and based on AI's understanding about who are you, what is your need, it will kind of decouple those questions into multiple angles. So like size, service, urgency, how urgent are you? Like what is like the scope of this question? What is the price range that you're looking for? And then providing you with an answer. So it is very important to understand that in terms of how are they coming through the website and what are they searching, right? Like if you and we both ask the same question in ChatGPT, we will get different answers because people are different. They have different background and needs. And what needs to be done is actually talking to your customers. This thing, for example, asking your clients what are the questions they have in mind when they're trying to purchase your product. Record those questions, in your notebook or in a kind of more digitalized version, and kind of have those as your question bank. Question bank means the questions that your target audience would ask when searching for certain solutions or products. And what you can do with more analytical solution is connect to Google Analytics and Google Search Console that can help you to understand what people are searching in terms of keywords that you can reconstruct what people ask that lends to your website. And it's actually quite different in terms of the vertical. So in terms of local service, you might ask questions relevant to the location, where ChatGPT will provide you with a Google Map kind of interaction experience for you to find the local businesses. In terms of B2B professionals, on the other hand, people are more coming from a personal question regarding a specific, legal question, tax question, and then having AI to kind of consulting with you and provide potential service. On the other hand, the online store, it is much more focused on the product level granularity, where it looks at directly each individual product's SKU description, meaning, what is the size of this wedding dress? What is the, price range and kind of the date when it will arrive? So those very, very factual and accurate detail will be retrieved by ChatGPT and other AI models and bring it to you as a shopping cart for you to click and redirect to those shops. In terms of what type of questions my client asks and what should I pay attention to, this is an example of types of questions people ask frequently. So discovery question, meaning they have a pretty general question in their mind. They're trying to understand what is the solution here. And then is when they are more familiar with the topic and they have, decisions over 3 to 5 type of solutions, they will consider, like, ask, should I prioritize this or that? Like, what is the decision-making unit and importancy for this buyer? And finally is when they are trying to buy, they will ask ChatGPT or other models to do due diligence. What it means is AI will look at Yelp or G2 or Trustpilot, depending on kind of what vertical are you in, to understand how these other people are talking about the product you're trying to buy or the service you're trying to have, so that you can be safe before like lending into any spams. So that's like the step one, which is understand your users. It's really, really important to understand whether they're actually starting to use AI. If they're not, then you shouldn't be like very worried for now, because user behavior change quite slow. But if people are having, your type of audiences are like very active on ChatGPT doing research, then you should definitely get much more prepared. The step 2 is actually make your website much more readable. What that means is twofold. One is, can actually an AI read your pages? And second is, when AI and the humans are looking at your page, can they find the answers they have in mind? So in terms of the website readiness, there's a thing in traditional SEO called technical SEO. What it means is you want to make sure that you're allowing certain AI bots or other kind of crawler bots that just takes information from your website, indexes it, and feeds it back to, like, it could be Google or Microsoft Bing and other search engines to for other people to search and look at. So you want to check your, for example, robot.txt, which takes care of like a signal or a rule for those bots when visiting. Can you read my site or not? Right. And then you might consider also to look at your sitemap, which is the structure of your website that guides the agents to take actions, to guide the AI models and AI bots to take actions with the sitemap kind of guidance to find things quickly and accurate. Each AI bot or each kind of crawler machine, they have their budget, right? They're not going to scrape everything on the net on the internet. Otherwise, they will like explode and spend a lot of like money in terms of the Google, right? So they actually have a very limited budget, and they want to look at contents that is answer first, that is high quality, and so that they can take those information concise and bring it back to the actual user that is searching. In terms of, does my page is actually answering, or people have to like find it through, like dig it through the process? It's very important to have FAQ sections, and kind of in each article or blog post that you're having, build the questions kind of paragraphs so that when AI is looking at your structure, it understands, okay, this is what this entire blog is talking about. And then what is the TLDR? What is like the short summary of this content? And then I can understand, okay, should I read even more about this blog or this solution, or should I just move to the next step? And again, like, because every single industry is different from each other in terms of target audience, it's also very important to understand your website could be different. So you want to make sure that for local service, you have your main service page. For B2B professionals, you have a very clear kind of page per service. So it's a collection page. For online store, you want to put more effort on your product pages, especially in this AI kind of search behavior, where ChatGPT will pull directly your individual product detail page to your as a response to your to the user's search. And last step is build a voice that is in the right places. So if you search in ChatGPT, you probably will notice that AI is taking a lot of citations. It's looking at different sources that's coming from, your competitors. It's coming from Reddit, Instagram, these kind of social media. It's also coming from Wikipedia or even, Forbes kind of press release or more kind of high quality content, and also review platforms, as I mentioned, G2, Trustpilot. So you want to understand, okay, which are the sources your industry, like when AI is looking at, they are picking from. You want to be there instead of just randomly be everywhere. And once you are establishing kind of your voice, you want to be answering the real question and actually tracking the impact from those sources. Here's an illustrative diagram where showing different verticals. Again, they're citing from different sources. So consumer CPG brands, there are a lot of affiliate blogs and website. For example, it could be someone writing like a top 5 kind of CPG brands and making comparisons in their own website. That is a very clear example of how people or how AI is searching nowadays. You can also see like in e-commerce, there's a lot like different percentage of brand and retailer websites. For financial services, it's kind of in terms of affiliate blogs, it's kind of similar. But in long story short, it's really about what industry you're in and understanding the citation kind of scope of those. People might ask, okay, I actually have pretty good Google review, and is that like enough? So as I said, AI is doing due diligence for your brand across all the media and sources they can find. So you want to make sure that you know exactly where you've been recommended or you've been not recommended, and then be responsive, be engaging to those client requests or feedbacks so that you can build a much more accurate and consistent brand image. So in the right place, in the right format, that is the key for the citation or building your brand awareness. And each different vertical has its different kind of taste of the citations and sources. Here's some example for you to explore. And in terms of, we have established those voice in terms of creating high quality contents that answers the user's questions or showing up in third-party media or getting reported by Forbes or other kind of platforms. How do I track the whether it's actually working, right? So the plain answer is just look at your Google Analytics to see whether the traffic is coming through that is labeled as ChatGPT or other AI models, or just to see your direct traffic growth once you've started to do those actions to grow in AI. You'll probably also see orders and inquiries from, if you're a B2B or e-commerce brand, you will receive those order increase. So if you're, for example, e-commerce in Shopify, you would also be able to see the traffics coming from AI and like how much orders it's bringing. Those are actually very straightforward and low friction for everyone to just take a look and understand what you are at this moment. Okay, so for the quick recap of the 101 session, understand who is your target audience, what do they ask before they buy your product. Those questions are exactly the questions what AI would look at across all your website, but also all the social media. So make your site super readable, crystal clear for agents, for AI bots, for people to understand what you're talking about, and having your consistent, fresh, up-to-date voice across all the social media, third-party listicles that AI picks from your industry. All right. So just a summary on that. So what Citable does is we help to turn AI shopper insights into measurable sales growth for merchants. So again, we help you to understand who your target audience is, and then how can you do step-by-step action to grow in AI kind of era. And we have seen like up to 30% of AI attributed revenue growth within 3 months of operation and saving 10 hours plus work for marketing and operation teams. Right. So just before we actually begin, we want to make sure that everyone has their laptop and website open so that we can run your own AI visibility scan in the next 5 to 10 minutes. I will do that at the same time so everyone can see, how is it going, like what's needs to be taken care of. But it's super chill and there won't be any like charging. It's completely free. It's like free experience that we can help you to understand what is your business at this moment like is about. And before that, a quick question to everyone, like how would you prefer, right, to receive kind of marketing recommendation or go-to-market strategies for your business? Do you guys use Slack or do you guys mostly prefer WhatsApp communication or Microsoft Teams? Would be nice to hear your feedback. We are currently focusing on building a much more smoother experience for everyone. Probably having an AI in the platform that you are comfortable to interact with you and help you to grow your business. Right. Okay. So
there's a poll right now in the chat if people want to take those polls.
Yes. Thank you so much, Kazi. And let's get into the business. Okay. So I think everyone can see the screen right now. So if you click the start free trial, you should be able to kind of see your, let's say, see your brand, and you can input your company's name. For us, let's do, actually, does anyone wants, if anyone's is interested in sharing their kind of company name and website, I can do an analysis on that. But in the meantime, everyone can just start their login process with Google. That will help you to kind of navigate in this analytics process. Right. Okay. Let's actually try, let's just do, oh,
I think somebody has shared their company link in the chat, probably to.
Okay. All right. I'm gonna stop sharing for a second to check the link. She found wealth. Okay, Jess, I saw your company. Okay, let me just quickly input it. And right after, I'll share the screen again. Link. All right.
And we have just dropped the Get Citable link in the chat. So if you want to do a step-by-step onboarding with us, feel free and you will get your report on your AI visibility.
All right, guys. I think I'm now sharing the screen. So as you can see, this is what Citable will quickly grab from the internet based on the understanding of your business. Summarize, okay, She Found Wealth helps people to build financial confidence and use points and miles strategically to travel better without compromising their financial goals. And based on this knowledge of the website, it will start to map.
Cole, we don't see the thing you're doing because I think it's some other screen you are sharing, not the, yeah.
Oh, just a second. Can you guys see it now?
Yes. Good.
Amazing. Yeah. So after you input your website, you should be able to see the description of your company and who is your target audience that you can click in and see their kind of goal, pain points, behaviors, and questions they ask when they're looking for such solution, right? And you can modify it to more details after we conduct an initial analysis, but this gives you an overview of how you want to approach to your clients in AI. You want to understand who they are, what is bringing them in, what is their need in terms of the business or solution that you're providing. We have a location, for example, we'll use like United States for now, but you can also see who are your competitors in this landscape that you want to track their AI visibility along with yours to understand how are you positioning and how you can get better by learning from others at the same time. So then I will start to run my audit. This is like an optional questionnaire. Feel free to just fill it in so that we can better help you to understand how to build the growth strategy in AI. And in this process, you can see we're seeing how ChatGPT or other models are responding to some of the questions. Amina, so Amina is one of the persona that we're tracking. They are asking in ChatGPT. So you're seeing that, okay, it's giving like responses in terms of recommendation, like products or service, and then giving you the link to click it. And then kind of in the summary, like it asks you to follow up or sources that it brings and looks at. So you can see like Built.com is like a credit card company. And there's like other kind of money related links that you want to be there if they're not your competitors, obviously. But those are like an example snapshot of how these models that we are kind of helping you to capture along the way. So we're currently tracking like Gemini, ChatGPT, and Perplexity. In the platform, we also support like Claude, Google AI Overview, and Grok. So these are different models depending on your need to really understand whether your users are like showing up or searching. And usually just the statistics. So ChatGPT and Gemini or the Google AI Overview is dominant in terms of AI search. So if you're not sure whether your users are using, Perplexity or like Grok or Claude, you can focus first on the ChatGPT process. Yeah. And in the meantime, while we're waiting a bit, it would be nice if you can just interact with the question pool that we sent in the chat so that we can help you to better understand your current positioning and how can we help you better. Yeah. Right. So I think during this process, while it's still running, I think for everyone else, your platform is also like in this process, in this analytic session. Let me quickly show you what a mature kind of brand that has been establishing the growth for the past 3 months looks like. So here I'm sharing one of the companies that has been like leveraging Citable to grow in AI search for the past 3 months. So you can see it has grown for up to 40% in terms of the citation and mention and other kind of metrics. Just a quick note on that. So I've covered how does ChatGPT work in terms of, you sending a question, it takes those questions into multiple questions, bringing those answers back as a result, right? So in that process, AI brings a lot of URLs and citation links. So those are called citations. So we want to check whether your website or the contents that you shared with the world is actually got picked up by AI. So that's citation rate. In terms of the mention rate is whether your brand is mentioned in the answer itself. The ranking means compared to your competitors, right? Like in those answers, are you showing the first, second, or third? And finally, there's a sentiment part to that, whether your brand is more positive or negative. And we kind of help you to understand if it's negative, who said it, where is it, and how can you fix it, right? So those are like some of the intermediate metrics that we can help you to better understand your positioning in AI so that you can have like a much more accurate process. Right. Okay, I think it's still in the analytic process, but just to summarize, we in terms of the analytics and doing the growth in AI, I think I've shared that it's really important to understand your target audience. So what we have done is actually establish kind of understanding of your target audience, and then kind of check your website whether it's ready or not, and then build the contents and the high quality responses around those social kind of social media and platforms. Yeah. Here's like a quick scan of your technical SEO. So we will be checking your robot TXT sitemap. So the things I mentioned about the approval for AI to visit and kind of the directional map for AI to navigate through. And if you have lower scores, it's very easy, just copy kind of the prompts that we provide and paste it to your ChatGPT or other models to let it help you to fix along the way. So we only focus on the discoverability for now. That is good enough to bring you to a good level of visibility exposure. All right, so I think the visibility audit is ready. So let's check the audit report. So I think everyone's probably are going to see this report. She found wealth, AI visibility analytics. And you can see how it's sharing in terms of the citation, mention, average rank. So I assume right now it's pretty early at this stage, but it's totally fine because if you check other companies, they're actually also not very visible. So what we would do in terms of the next steps is that we will look at the citation research. So if you can take a look at your left sidebar, there's a citation research where you can see exactly what are the sources and the proportion of those sources are coming from that cites your vertical, right? So we can see there's a lot of government issued places or media and YouTube videos, Yahoo Finance, and other kind of sources that we want to take care and respond to it. Okay, and in terms of after we understand these sources, right? Like we want to understand, okay, what can we do about it? So what we support is we can help you to create high quality contents through Brand Studio that you can add your personal channels, if you have your blogs, so you can add your brand, different social media that we support, and then kind of also listening how others are talking about your brand in terms of Reddit or Twitter. And finally, if you really want to like find a certain like media placement, you can check our media placement kind of toolkit. And it will also support some parts of the ChatGPT advertisement if your target audience is people who use free tier ChatGPT. That's what ChatGPT ads is currently targeting mostly. But in short, after you understand where our AI is picking you want to build an accurate understanding of your target audience, and then scan and make sure that your website is technically ready. Oh, by the way, this is great. It means like everything is ready for AI to really crawl your website and pick up. So the next step would be really addressing the questions these people would ask. So just one last caveat. I know we're about to like reach the final end. So if you are currently using ChatGPT, actually, if you're currently using Claude, a good way to leverage the insights from Citable is simply connect Citable to Claude, where you can create your API keys, and you can just paste the MCP setup to your Claude and tell it to set it up for you. So ideally, you should be able to just communicate with Claude and have every high quality content interaction set up for you. So that's all for in terms of the tryout session, and happy to answer any questions that you guys see in your analysis or during anything I mentioned during the lecture that you find interesting or questions that you have.
Okay, I think there are a few in the chat that are specific to the audit, but I think Ella and Kazi are handling those. Are there any general questions from the presentation that Cole could answer while Ella and Kazi are typing away?
How can I check the questions? Okay, I think people are asking about how can I check the analytics, as I said, in terms of the traffic. So if you go to the agent analytics, you should be able to find kind of the sources and connect to your Google Analytics. So it will help you to filter out the non-AI traffic and just show you exactly where the AI traffic is coming from. And also, if you connect your Google Search Console, it will help you to understand what queries, like what keywords do people search in Google that landed to your website. So those keywords are actually super valuable to reconstruct the questions people ask in real life in ChatGPT. And if you are really interested in terms of setting up the growth strategy in AI with ease, just follow the key metrics of understanding your audience. So setting up the right questions in the brand strategy for your for your clients that you're tracking, your target audience, and then do the accurate kind of scan of those across those platforms to see how it shows up. And then we can build better and accurate strategies in terms of what channels do we go to market and what quality content that we do to answer those people's questions.
Then we have another question from Renee in the chat. How do you connect to Cloud? I missed that. So if you could maybe go over
Yes.
that slide again, please. Thank you.
Absolutely. So if you can click to your settings and then click API keys and then create an API key. So I will not create API keys here. By the way, guys, if you're not very familiar with AI, do not share your API keys publicly. People are thinking all kind of ways to steal your API keys, right? So once you create the API keys, open the Google, there's a link here, Docs MCP setup. Just copy this, drop it to Claude desktop. So it has to be local desktop for now, so that it's much more safe and accurate. So once you open your Claude desktop, you can just paste this in the chat saying, I want to set up my MCP server for Citable. And once it's connected, you basically can ask any question. So it's similar to the kind of AI within your currently using model that is leveraging the analytics that we provide so that you can build your own strategy. You can even in Claude set up like a weekly notification from an agent, from an AI that tells you, okay, these are the top 5 things, interesting things happen around your topic. And I would like to propose a content written for you. And if once you agree, it will create the content and post it for you. So if you guys are interested in kind of like this, we can schedule a separate session so that we can, really set up how this fully autonomous kind of process works like. But for now, I would just really encourage you to just understand what exactly you are at this moment in terms of AI visibility. Like, do you even want to go do AI growth or not? Like, that's like a first question to answer. And if so, like, we can just, focus more on how do we actually make that much more smooth and efficient. Yes.
Thank you. And then another one in the chat from Arthur. In terms of positioning yourself AI ready, is there a difference in visibility to the clients if the business owners are on the free version versus the paid version of the AI models?
Great question. So in terms of the, Okay, so we're thinking about the user side, like your clients who are searching in ChatGPT or Google AI Overview. Does the models differentiate if they're in different plans, right? So there's one big difference in ChatGPT. So if you're a ChatGPT free tier or Go tier, which is $8 per month, you will be able to, like, you will see ads, which is annoying. And if you're, so as a business, if your target audience is kind of in this free tier type of usage, you might consider ChatGPT ads that creates exposure, and you can understand, okay, what are the context that people are more care more about in AI search. But mostly people would just no-brainer use the latest model, not the most expensive one, but the most like Sonnet 5 or ChatGPT like Sol, for example. So these are like the common models, and these models are more focused on organic kind of content, so it will do due diligence. For businesses, it's different models have its own kind of citation preference. So Google, they're looking more at YouTube because YouTube is Google's ecosystem. ChatGPT looks at Reddit a bit more, but they are like different kind of versions. So what you can do is you can take a look at the citations and really understand how you're positioning. So this is the most accurate way you can do, like very fast. Yeah, I hope that answered your question, Arthur.
Okay, great. We have time for probably 1 or 2 more questions if anyone wants to ask while we have the Citable team here live. As we mentioned earlier, and as Kazi has put in the chat, you can also sign up for a free 15-minute one-on-one consultation if you want to sort of get into the specifics about you and your business.
Yes.
Kennedy, I'll jump in with a quick question if I can.
Great, thanks,
Cole,
Jay.
I'm just wondering, no problem. When a client, let's say somebody in the call today decides that they want to begin doing this kind of work for their business, when they start working with you, what's the timeline of an initial campaign, assuming that they get the content on their website structured in the right way and things like that? How does it compare to SEO in terms of how long it takes to get traction?
Great question. So just a background for anyone who doesn't know like what SEO is. So SEO is like modifying your kind of website contents and doing organic growth so that Google will find you better. In terms of the AI search, every time you're doing kind of SEO actions, it's actually contributing to GEO, right? So if your business has done SEO, it's a perfect start for any type of GEO actions. But if you haven't done any SEO, you can still do GEO in terms of being super sharp and accurate about your target audience, target question. You just answer those in your blogs or in those like collection pages, and that's it. Don't do anything like overwhelming. And in terms of the effectiveness, usually the indexing takes, maximum a week, and the traffic should follow up in a month. And you can track the intermediate metrics right away in terms of the citation, mention, and ranking, because we're running those AI questions, daily or weekly, depending on the tier, that helps you to understand, okay, I just did this change on my blog, or I just launched a new blog, right? So we will be able to pick it up once AI gives that as a source. So you instantly know, okay, this AI has picked it up. Okay, now it's a good time. Like it makes sense. So usually it takes like a month, but we will probably suggest like a 3-month so first month, really understanding your target audience, and then starting the first campaign where you cover your like number one buyer, like the 4 questions in their mind, like just one set of questions. One set of content that you can just publish it. Yeah.
Okay, great. As we wrap up today's session, I would like to extend another thank you to Cole and Kazi for sharing their valuable insights and expertise with us. If you guys had any further questions that we didn't answer today, Citable mentioned before that they're offering every attendee a free 30-minute one-on-one consultation. No sales pitch, no commitment, just a session tailored to you guys. As well as CEED will be posting the recording of this workshop on our YouTube, as well as sending out an email with all the information and links so that you can revisit the content or contact us if you had any further questions. Please do not hesitate to reach out. We're here to help and would love to continue the conversation. And thank you again for joining us today, and we look forward to seeing you at the future events.
Thank you so much, guys.
Thank you,
See
everyone.
Thank you, Nova Scotia.